Today on Gamers Couch,
Automania!
Hello, welcome to the couch.
Hello.
Happy Sunday. The last Sunday. Oh,
the last sun. And
the
then
last ever
sun
Sunday.
death on camera.
Ouch. So it's the goddamn the last Sunday before Christmas. Yeah, and the last Sunday of Advent unboxing.
And the last Sunday, at least for us, before we get to see the new Star Wars movie. Because we're slow and dependent on other people. Otherwise, we would have seen it by now already. But so far, we're pretty good at avoiding spoilers. So, surprise!
Thanks Internet for not spoiling very much.
Yes, so this will be a very spoiler-free episode of Automania.
Anyway, if you're new to the channel or the series, this is how it goes. My dear husband Daniel will explain rules and gameplay to you of whatever game we have on the couch today, Automania. Then him and I, by the way, I'm Sarah, the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, who's the owner of the channel. We are talking... Stop it, babe, please. We are talking about what we liked or not liked about the game, and then we tell you, woo! And then we tell you a tiny bit about funny stories and experiences that we had while playing the game. And during Christmas season, which is, like we already said, this is the last Sunday of Advent unboxing. At the end of the video, he will get his final Advent calendar present from me. So we're gonna open that and you can see what game is in there, which will probably very soon be on the couch. Very soon, meaning in 2016. So, enough of the opener. I need coffee and look pretty as much as I can while he explains rules and gameplay. Yeah, don't look at me like that.
Welcome to Automania.
I'm dying. It's really hard to keep it together.
What?
No, you made so much fun that I'm giggling inside, like really hard.
So let me start this one with a question. Do you like cars?
Yes.
Do you like building cars?
If it's Lego.
Do you like selling cars?
Eh.
Do you like taking people away before other people can hire them to make your car production line more efficient?
Yes.
Then I've got something for you. Welcome to Automania, as said previously on this video.
I will be your board holder.
Be playing on this
because then I look pretty.
Luxurious board that allows you to, and let's try not to be the ultra glare, whatever. You're trying to build cars on your little production line down here, and this is the main board where you will be picking up car parts or advancements or people to work for you, as well as using these spaces to actually produce a car. After you've done with the production of cars, you will move them over to one of those sales markets and try to sell them either to the North American market or to the European market, because it seems in Asia nobody's driving a car, or in Africa.
Sorry.
The underworld seems to be having fun behind the
No, it's I'm thinking Asia, the tuk-tuks and stuff, and Africa it's more like other things. You ride an elephant.
Most important part for you, because you might want to win at this game, is the scoring track that goes all around. Apart from these areas here, you don't interact with much else on this board, although this area around here is certainly the most important. What you will have in front of you is your production line, and as you can see, each one or each player is able to produce either a very small car, like a city car, the family SUV that probably cost more children's lives than it rescued, and the sports car that is even faster at bringing you into the next tree that you design. Well, maybe I shouldn't. It's not that macabre of a game. But yes, it's cars. I mean, I haven't seen a tile that allows you to adjust the, like, say, the diesel emission values.
Because VW is not a company that is represented in that game, is it?
This video is sponsored by the environment. No, it isn't. So, what you're trying to do is to place your little workers, because you will have people working for you, on one of these outer rim fields, and for each round these areas here will be filled with a random assortment of different things that you can pick up. So let's say I want to pick up this crash test dummy tile, which essentially means the cars built there are very safe. What I can do now is, on my production line, place this tile on any of those.
No, I have hair in my face. I'm holding it up in a sec. Hold it.
Place it here on your production line, and whenever a car is produced that crosses this area here, and you can see that different cars cross over different production lines and some over more than others, they get this special trait. Why would you want to do that? Well, down here at the markets, you come across these little round tiles that have familiar looking symbols like this crash test dummy. So let's say you have the crash test dummy down here on the North American market, meaning every car you would produce at this turn would gain 4 stars, which is the popularity value, meaning that if you want to sell the car in the North American market, it is way more popular at, well, let's say a car that has very good steering or traction control, if it's on here or even if it's not on here. So what you'll do is, on any other, or let's say you pick, let's say this thing was here, you place your worker up here for the family car space, meaning you get to pick up the tile from this row and it's gone, no other player may have that. And I'm putting it right here, and then I get to build a car, although I have to pay 2 car bucks or auto bucks, whatever, money. 2 money to build one of these here, and you get to pick your little car token, look at how popular it would be, so it gets 1 star from this tile that's on here anyway. Then, assuming that our crash test dummy is on the 4-star tile down here, we would build a car that has a popularity of 5. Let's take a look over here at the shipment area. I would then take this little car tile and place it on the 5-star boat, which immediately gains me 1 victory point. And, well, it stays there until everybody is kind of done with the car building and adjusting your production facility phase. Or in other words, until everybody has spent their workers. You can end your turn early by using one of these tiles down here, which either give you as much or 1 car buck per worker that you place on here, or you can place as many workers as you still have on here to increase the value of a car you just produced, or increase the popularity. So let's say I would have put this on the 5-star thing, but I'm seeing here the 8-star boat gives me 2 victory points, and also I'm way more popular over there, so I could place 3 additional workers. Pro tip, it's not really worth it, but just go with me. I could put 3 additional workers to move the car up here to the 8-star tile. And as you might have guessed, only 1 car may occupy one of these spaces at all times. So if you're the first to build a really high value car, that's not a bad thing, because after you are done here, you will retreat to one of these sales offices, and they have different things. Like this one lets you go first on the next round, but only lets you sell 2 cars this turn. Then you have this field here, which allows you to sell 2 cars as well, and you get to choose one of the, there's 2 random tiles placed down there as well, and you get to choose one of them. The third space allows you to sell 3 cars in a single round, and you get one of these contract cards that give you additional victory points. And the last space is not only will you go last in the next turn, but you may sell as many cards as you want now. Now going to the sales phase, and then your arms will be relieved of duty.
Hold it. My hair tickles me in the nose and this.
These complaints from those lowly workers. It's really hard to get good personnel these days. Please open.
A wife is not personnel. I'm the boss. In this matter.
So, starting with the most popular car here, you will then place your car down here, which is actually the market itself you're going to sell stuff on. Obviously, if you have the highest or the most popular car, you get to choose first where to put that on these spaces. These 6 spaces may only be occupied by one car again. So you may want to go for the high value spaces which are down here first, one giving you 6 car bucks or the other giving you 3 car bucks and 3 victory points. And this is pretty much the, let's say, the main way for you to make victory points. If you have an exceptionally popular car that is worth 18 or more stars, you get 3 victory points immediately and get to, I think, choose one of these things right away. I think so. I don't want to look it up right now. Just trust me on that one. So North America gives you money or half the money and victory points. As you can see, in Europe you get 6 victory points or 3 money, 3 victory points. So that's the only difference. Like the European market is more victory point concerned, and the American market is more North American market. Is more money concerned, which kind of that's what we do since the Middle Ages. Victory points really big here. Money in the US really big since forever. I think.
Since Monopoly.
And that's that. Now please hold it up again. No, we made the editing jump, but you've seen anything on that space that you might want to see. Now I showed you that there's these tiles that go onto your production line to increase the either value or popularity of the car, either directly through giving you stars or indirectly by kind of fulfilling the demand of the continent you're going to ship to. But there's a couple of other different tiles which I'm desperately searching and not finding. There we go.
I selected from every thingy one for the A, but not for the B. Just some for the B. I prepped the filming and didn't tell him what I did put out of the boxes.
Other things that you can do to adjust the cars you produce, and yes, these sides are different. I'm going into that soon enough. You can enhance a specific type of car with goodies like bigger exhausts, spoilers, little dice that go into the front window or right into the trash because nobody puts them in a car. Except they're worth popularity. So if you want to put them here, the first enhancement is put right up here and is, free. That's what this little tile tells us. The next one will cost 1 Autobuck or Carbuck, and the third one will...
Don't say Carbuck. I always think of a coffee company from the west coast of the States.
So,
don't do it.
So if you want to fully deck this out with all 3 of those, you have to spend 6 Carbucks. Other things that you can do, I said it's difficult to get good folks or good personnel. You can hire guys that go into these offices, and most are either concerned with sales or giving you more money, or for example, this dude here, which is I think an engineer, I don't know, but or it's a mechanic, I think. If you put him here, first of all, you have to pay 1 Carbuck because you have to kind of create an office for him to live and work and mostly live. Put him here. The good thing is he'll give you an additional neutral worker which you can use all the time. Or you can get this charming lady which allows you to sell 1 more car in addition to whatever you chose on the sales fields. you can get that's I think the real engineer, the science guy, who automatically will update the popularity of any car you will ever produce by 1 star.
Sorry.
And yes, you can hire multiple of the same guys to make your cars even more awesome, or to have more workers and do more stuff with that. So you continue doing that, playing through these tiles, and as Sarah already spoiled, there's 8 tiles, and for example, this one gives you money and gives you an additional piece of car buck. Well, it gives you just an additional car buck whenever you use the car buck field, which I don't make you hold up right now.
Thank you. I love you too.
Then there's the B tiles, and you will first play through all the A tiles. I think that's 2 rounds, and then you play 2 rounds through the B tiles. Was that pretty much it? Major difference is that these are way stronger in effect. So, for example, if you hire her, you get immediately 3 victory points. Or here's the science engineering guy, which adds 2 stars instead of just 1. There's also upgrades to the spoilers, so you can make even cooler cars. There's also tiles in here now that not only give you the security trait, but also give you 2 victory points if you have this at the end of the game, and you kind of count every tile that has these little medals on them. Other stuff you can do until you reach the end of the game is to, instead of picking one of these tiles, to pick one of these cards, which are essentially contracts. So whenever you produce a card that meets the things that are on here, I'm surprised this. Usually they say ordered by. So for example, this is ordered by Germund Bohne, which is sounds like a really strange German name with a Bean as a last name.
It's Mr. Bean.
Right. So if you pick one of these up and produce a car that meets all those traits, in this case it doesn't matter which type of car, but it has to be popular with at least 10 or more popularity points, it needs a very cool exhaust, and it needs those stupid dice in the front mirror. If you do that, you may show this card to everybody because they are kind of secret on your hand, and at the end of the game it's worth 3 victory points. Other cards, like this one ordered by Refnin, this needs the luggage trait for, well, more room, needs to be popular, so 12 or more stars, and will be worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. I suppose you understand how this will work. You can only cash in one of those per car you produce, and that's kind of one of the few possibilities to actually keep points in secret until the end of the game, because everybody is probably able to see what you're doing. Apart from that, there's 4 starting cards, and you will pick one of those randomly, and they just give you 3 car bucks if you produce a car that meets the requirements. So it's either build it as a family car, or SUV car, which is popular, or a small car which has a popularity of 6. This is 7, or that's another mini car. So no sports cars at the start.
Because they're expensive to build.
Yes. One thing I did not mention, and now we might have to. Well, actually, that part is enough.
Yeah.
So the way these demands work is you will have 3 demand pieces on this 2, 3, and 4 star tile, and 2 additional ones up here, like this. Now, whoever is last in this turn will decide if the left ones will advance or the right ones. Meaning, if the left ones advance, you just put this one here, everything else gets shuffled down, and the last one moves over to the other side, which is not on
Mirror!
Which moves to the other continent on top, refilling the spot that just got empty. So you might even be able to predict what you want to invest or what you want to set up your production facility, kind of seeing what might show up next, or you already know if, let's say, the steering wheel is worth 2 stars right now, it will be worth 3 stars next turn and 4 stars the turn afterwards. So it's actually not a bad idea to kind of invest and adjust your production cycle to that. It is actually possible to have the same icon twice in demand. So if people really, 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 really crave fast cars, and you have this twice on the same track, you produce a car that also has two of these, you get both the bonuses. If you just have one, you just take the higher one of those two, but you don't get both. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's these. I'm getting handed from my assistant these little.
Yeah, because they change turn order every turn.
Yeah.
Depending on the sales office.
That's what I mentioned at the sales office part.
Oh, see, not only did the board black out my face, but also my hearing and understanding, obviously.
So yeah, if you want to show it again, no, the other side. And now unfold.
Me or?
Please.
No, you don't want me to unfold.
Do the unfolding.
Yes.
So these numbers here correspond with the numbers here. So yeah, if you pick I want only to produce I want to sell only 2 cars this turn, the advantage is you will get first next turn. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. Maybe not everybody.
I will see listening. In editing. Then there's only the advanced setting of the game, and then you're all done.
So if that seems straight away fair enough and simple to follow for you, and trust me, it is not that bad at all. It is actually quite self-explanatory. As I've told you, there are 2 sides here. So the A side is the same for all of these tiles, regardless of the color. Then there's the B side, and the B side offers you different advantages. So, for example, this is actually now a company called Meow.
And now you know why I chose that color, though he wears the red shirt.
Giving that player a special ability called you may copy a car. So, if you produce the car, you may place one of your cars on the same spot on a ship as another car, which is considered a copy of that car, which is pretty cool. The yellow player is, I think, called Elon.
Hold it. Yes.
And Elon has a special sports car that is so technologically advanced that it becomes immediately a little bit more popular by having 1 star. There's the totally un-German Oppo, which special ability is actually also quite interesting, is this space here, because Oppo may hire 6 people and put them into this open whatever room office, which I think actually Oppo stands for open room office or something like that in here. Whatever. You can hire up to 6, and they all just cost 1 car buck, which is quite cool as well. Everybody else only has 4. No?
And there's your German lesson of the day.
4.
Not fear.
Fear.
And the greenie.
Fear the 4. And then...
I'm sorry, no, it's just... Yeah, and our twinkle lights just disassembled.
Our emergency Christmas light is just gone through the... whatever. And then we have Sumato, which I think is just...
Green.
No, I'm trying to remember what's their special. I don't know. Let me look it up so that you really know every. Or should I keep it a secret?
No. You don't have to make funny noises. I will cut that.
Oh, I see. Okay. So first of all, Sumato gets another city car, so you might produce more than one, and their production line is a little bit different. And that's that. Well, since Sumato just brought it up that you get to build another city car, yes, your cars are finite. So if you produce the car and place it on a ship, you can recall it if you want to produce a better version of that, or if you think that's more worthwhile. But if you produce all your cars, which would be usually for all of them 3 city cars or 2 family cars or 2 sports cars, and you're done producing them and have none of these left, you cannot produce any more unless you recall one from the ship. But obviously you don't get the points then, or you don't get to choose for money and victory points at the end. Another thing that might be good to know, and as always, we don't intend these as a full rules explanation to get you started playing, but just to keep in mind, which makes this game a little bit more annoying for other players. If you pick one of these fields here, you may only place a worker there if this space is not occupied by someone else. You may pay one additional worker than whatever the last player placed there to place yours. So if Sarah, well, let's say chose this field here to pick up this tile, and I want to pick up that tile and want to place my workers there, I have to place 2. Now, if she wants then to pick up the one down here, she would have to place 3, kind of topping my 2. You're not allowed to top your own workers. So if I place 1 there, I'm not allowed to place 2 there to kind of get the next tile, which makes up for interesting things, because if someone's blocking themselves, you kind of have the opportunity to unblock them, to allow them to get to a tile, or just watch them suffer that they won't be able to get the tile that they desperately want to have. And I think that's it. It's a Euro game, although it has an American market, and there's a lot of worker placement going on. And maybe I would say don't be deceived. Although this game has a very friendly, almost like a cartoonish. I don't want to say it looks like a children's game, but it's a very family-friendly looking game, which it is. But but it is still a very Euro game where you have to worry about worker placements more and your tactical decisions, rather than just going around the game board and rolling and collecting money. My assistant is now giving me the very subtle hint to remind you that this game is intended to be played by 2 to 4, at least 12-year-olds or older, and it will take them 60 to 90 minutes, which I think is pretty accurate, at least for the base game. And if I'd say, if you start out this game, start your first round with the base game. The additional factions or different company styles add to that, but not as much, and it might be a good idea for your very first game just to get a good feeling of how long does this take, when do I want to go for a tile, do I want to replace a tile, also being able to see all the A tiles and B tiles through one game before making any broad decisions there is also a good idea. Yeah.
Wonderful. Nicely done. So let's hop right into the next section, likes and dislikes. So you actually said it with the cartoony style. What I really liked once unpacking was the look of the game. It looks really sweet. It looks, I don't want to say children's game, but more on the easy part of the spectrum, so it's not intimidating. And I mean, yeah, it's car production, so it's actually really cool. So I really like that, and with the art style and just the cutesy factor also comes the production quality. So that was very well done with all the punch out and the meeples and stuff like that. So nothing's warping. It's really, really sweet, and I liked that a lot. I was kind of surprised because I didn't look anything up about the game before we played it the first time. how involved this game is. So what he already hinted at, don't be misled. This is not a cutesy children's game. It's a cutesy adult involved kind of game. And this sounds so dirty, and I don't mean it like that. Sorry.
It's Christmas time. It's the time for
With
love
balls.
and family and
Balls.
this
Ornaments. That's what they're
twinkly balls.
Twinkly balls. Right. No, so I really liked that surprise once we played it the first time, how involved and how replayable it actually is, with all the different kinds of A and B tiles, and where when you are going for what during the game, are you going for the last place always, but are able to choose the favorites for the markets? Then are you screwing with the other person or people on the table? Are you...
How many cards do you want to sell?
Yeah, are you maybe just ignoring them and just playing your thing no matter what? Or are you just playing really aggressively? So it's very involved. There's a lot of choices that you could make, but you don't have to. And I really like that you can pretty much scale the game on your own just by how you play it. So that was a big plus. And I mean, yeah, I'm kind of a car lover, so the theme was good for me as well. I'm not as crazy as his dad, nowhere near, but I really like driving and I like cars, so yeah, that was a nice thingy for me as well. I'm really curious how the advanced set will play, if there's a lot of difference to the base game. I assume there won't be, but we didn't play the advanced thingy with the companies yet, so we cannot really speak to that.
Unfortunately, almost every time we played this with someone who has not played it before, so we kind of always had to play the base game. Although I already told you what the difference between those companies is, and I think we all by now know that there's a difference, and it might give you a little more flavor to how you play your company.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm really curious how that will play out. But I really liked, well, the combination of it looking cutesy and nice and light and not intimidating, and it really being involved, an involved game, and you can scale that to make it really extreme and agonize over every move, or just go with what your gut tells you at that point. So I like that. How about you?
So I went into this a little bit more prepared when. So I actually looked this up or saw this before Essen happened, and I thought, that might be the thing I want to pick up. A little backstory for that: the year before this year's Essen, we came across a game called Kanban, which you may or may not be familiar with, which seems very similar to this one. It is about car production lines, research, hiring people, selling your car to different markets, and that on. And while I didn't play it,
we watched, right?
Pretty much some of our friends who got it said, yeah, it's a really heavy Euro, and it's very involved. And just looking at the demo given at Essen, it looked a little bit too involved for our. Well, I guess we would play it, but
but not all of our gaming groups.
Yeah, and so most certainly not my parents, for example, or
my mom neither. So there would maybe just be our Sunday gaming group, and
so going into Essen this year, I saw this and I thought, well, first of all, this looks very similar to that, although it's not from the same company or the same designer, but it seems as if someone sat down and said, you know what, we really like the idea, although let's try to make this a little bit easier, a bit more streamlined. And as we said, this is played in 60 to 90 minutes, which is, I think, pretty fast for an involved game like this. So with that in mind, I got there, picked it up, and we played it, and it is exactly what I was hoping for in terms of it is an interesting, let's build cars, let's have a production facility, let's have interesting choices, what I want to go for. Do I want to try to get some extra points here? Do I want to focus on those specific clients that want to get stuff? Do I ignore them entirely and just go for the market demands? Although that's not really a choice. I think you cannot. It's really difficult to win at this game if you're ignoring the markets entirely, because if this says make a car that is worth a 12 in popularity, you kind of have to play this to a market that you wanna go for. It's it is simple enough to teach. There's not much more than maybe 4 or 5 tiles of each different type, and once you get to know or understand what these are the guys you hire. These are the things you can put on the back of the car, or at the front of the car in terms of the dice. These fulfill the demands, and there's not so much things in there, but it's enough and it's involved enough to make up for interesting decisions, I think. And that is quite enjoyable. And I think the cutesy look is on purpose to
not
to make
people.
To make that introduction even more easy than it is, to kind of avoid people being scared from heavy Euro mechanisms, and this is some kind of economic simulation for car production, which it is, but not really.
Yeah, it draws people in that cutesy look. And I think it's good because I think the game is cool enough to really draw in unexperienced people that might just be scared by other plays that are that involved. Games. I meant to say
2 plays.
I meant to say games. It's not blah. Anyway.
And obviously, with that art style, it also, I would assume, appeals more to kids than any more neutral or more historical art style. I think we will not complain, but we mentioned that the Orléans art style looked at points a bit uninspired, and this is very. It has funny characters, and there's something at least that makes me smile looking at these things. The little crash test dummy that is also smiling on here, and it's just fun. It evokes a fun reaction.
And it really scales well between 2 and 4 players. I forgot to say that. It wasn't. We always play the games first, just the 2 of us, if it is for 2 players or if it's playable for 2 players. And it didn't feel to me as if we played the, kind of version of the game. It's scaled nicely there.
Same game.
Yeah. It wasn't faster. It wasn't boring. It wasn't. It didn't feel quote unquote empty or. As you sometimes have it with the other games, this was just as enjoyable with 2 and 4 players, I think. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Same feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So if I had to give a recommendation, does this reinvent worker placement games or Euro-style games? I would say no. But is this a solid, very enjoyable game with a fun theme? Certainly yes. So if you're missing one of those, or if you're kind of intrigued by the theme of producing cars and selling to markets, I totally say go for it. It's certainly worth picking up. Or if you don't have a game like that, or if you're curious and want to try out a Euro-style worker placement game, but are intimidated by the more arcane side, although by now, with stuff like lots of Waterdeep, and those are
but still the box,
not really complicated.
The box looks more scary if you're not familiar with the D&D universe than Automania does.
True.
So
True enough. But I already liked this when we opened this game. I saw there's little production lines, and now you have to optimize where you want to place the tile, because it's that kind of the programmer in me then goes into the I can yes.
Yeah. And it's just logical. Sometimes with other games you cannot really comprehend like right away why this is the right or the most efficient way to go, but with a theme like cars and production of cars, you can understand where you come from, and it's just sometimes really logic and easy for you to go the efficient route towards victory points, because this is how it's done in the real world. So I think it's cutesy.
I think the distance between the player taking an action and seeing the effect or the benefit of that action is very short, and that I think is what makes this game so appealing even to people who have not played something like this.
Yes. So let's go into rating before we tell the funny stories and experiences. What do you give this game, or do you want me to rate first? No?
So I want to give this 8 dust particles on 3 workers.
Okay. You don't understand what that means? Ask him. He's got a Facebook page, or in the comments, just ask him. It's fine.
You will never find me. You will be starved of an answer. And I will be laughing at you.
Ask me, and I will present him on a silver platter to you.
So let's go into funny stories.
No. My rating... Goddamn, it's a 9.5 on my personal scale of 1 to awesome. I reserve half a point because I cannot speak to the advanced play thingy. And if it is as good as I think as it is, it will be a solid awesome.
So it's not an awesome without the advanced?
I don't want to go over the awesome if it is as good as I think, because you really, really have to fill my heart with lots of joy and me dancing around like a 3-year-old if you want to go over the awesome.
So
you have to be Ghost Story, like.
No. What I mean is, let's assume this did not have an advanced mod at all.
Then it would be an awesome.
So it's an awesome.
But it has.
You're welcome, designers of this game, to make my wife kind of argue into this is an awesome.
I don't argue.
That's all right. Games may be awesome.
Yes. But only one game is the awesomest of all the games.
If you would have ghost cars, then...
No. It's not the theme there.
The spirit of Herbie going in circles.
Oh, don't go with these movies. I hate them. Anyway, let's go into funny stories and experiences. Now, do you remember how often we played the game? Because I looked it up and I was surprised that we only played it...
3 times? 4 times?
No, it was 2. And I'm not sure if you and me just played it with 2, or if that includes the one with the parents. I don't remember.
Didn't we play this with your mom as well?
No.
It feels like 3 or 4.
3 would be if we played it twice, the 2 of us, and once with your parents. But I'm not sure if I added the once with your parents to the list.
Well, then that would be 3 times.
Yeah. If I added it, it would be 2 times. Once just
obviously,
us. Anyway.
Obviously enough to have a solid opinion on the game and tell you about it.
Well, yeah, of course. Always. So... I really just enjoyed the first game that just you and I played, because I really like in general when we test out new games and we explore pretty much and get familiar enough with the game and maybe iron out some wrinkles that are maybe in the manual or whatever. So I really enjoyed it with this one because there were no wrinkles to iron out and stuff to look up, because it was about to play.
So
it was really cool.
As I said, this is a 4-page manual.
It left no questions.
This is the entirety of the manual.
Yeah.
And as Sarah just said, on our first play, we played this. We had to look up maybe 1 or 2 things, but
it was in the manual.
There's-
We didn't have to hit the internet.
There's usually a lot of games where so what does it, how's the timing on this? Not at all for this.
Yeah.
It was just what does this icon give me? Or what do I have to do here?
So what this first game ever felt like was like the second game or third game where we are already kind of familiar with the game.
Kind of skipping the test game.
The test game. It didn't feel like a test game, but then again, it was because, I screwed up a tiny bit with, he won like by tons and tons of points, half around the board, but so it felt like a test game there. But I really just liked it. It was very, very nice experience. But my favorite experience with this game was when we played it with your parents. Mm-hmm. So I would categorize his parents as casual gamers, meaning they are very curious about games, but they do like games that are involved only to a certain degree.
Yeah. And to give you a point of reference there, although we've talked about our parents and playing with them quite some time on these, but when I grew up, we used to play games like Uno or any derivative of that, or just simple card games, but also stuff like Hero Quest or Space Crusade is, I think, the English version of that.
Then pretty much everybody except me played it. The Settlers.
Yeah,
You played
Catan.
Catan.
Yeah. So yes, games, but not like stuff like worker placement games or those heavy Euro style games. So playing this game was kind of I'm not sure if they're gonna like it, but especially my dad it needs a little bit of convincing to get him onto the table if a bit more complicated games come on. But someone hinted like 20 minutes ago at that my dad really likes cars because he used to be a car mechanic in his past.
He's very passionate.
Still likes cars, still has an American sports car and is kind of tinkering with that. So offering to play a game that is about, producing cars and selling them to a market.
Right up his alley.
Interesting.
So we got him there. And while we played it, it was, I don't know, he was made, that game was made for him. He had so much fun. Yeah, but I gotta start this a bit. I need the spoiler there. Like when he's ordering stuff for his car, this is what he said during the game. It was just goddamn awesome. His mom rolling the eyes like, it's just like in real life. Who's gonna pay for the parts? And him and me just cracking up. It's like, yay, Daddy's having fun. And he was really good too.
And while we played with 4 there, and it was a slow game. I think it took almost 2 hours.
But it was game for them.
It was the first game for them, and even though it took so long, it still kept the attention of everybody sitting at the table, which is kind of, at least with some other games, my dad at the 1 hour mark would have said, it's time to do something different.
Yeah, but he was he was exhausted after that game ended, but he didn't say, this is quite the big game. This takes a long time, as he does with maybe other games. But no, he was just in his world of cars, and he had a lot of fun. So that was really, really cool. And we were actually pretty close together when it comes to the victory points. You did run away, kind of, but you had to overtake your dad and me, so you weren't that far away, which was really cool. We were quite close together, though we already knew the game and they didn't, and they do not overanalyze games as much. So that was really, really just very, very sweet, and I liked it.
And the blocking other players thing obviously is way more dominant in a 4-player game.
Yes. But it didn't feel as if you were really stuck, or did you feel like that?
It felt. I think it made the game a little bit more interesting than with just 2, because you kind of are limited in what you can pick up, but so is everybody else. So it's not an advantage or disadvantage for anyone at the table in particular.
Yeah.
Well.
So that ends the talk about the game, and now it's time for the last unboxing.
Christmas duck, Christmas duck.
No, he's a pirate duck, but he will be maybe a Christmas. Oh, he's showing his belly button. Gosh.
He's also looking under his.
Yeah, I have to adjust that while you unbox your last advent game of the year.
Something. I think the big one might be another duck, but there's something small in there that has an unusual shape. So I'm not sure what I'm going to think.
No, don't. I'm having a bad hair day anyway.
No, you have a scarf day.
Yeah, I like scarves, but don't have the scarf in my hair, please.
Ooh.
Why is there
more characters for Shadowrun Crossfire, a game that Sarah has a difficult time to play with because it is very unforgiving and brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay!
I know that he likes it. So, this is the sacrifice I do for you.
A very fashionable, a good choice on meat for the shirt. I got a red Dacoon.
Red Baron duck.
Duck flying in a plane.
Yeah.
So,
he's very fashionable.
And his goggles make him look like the
bank robber.
The bank robber burger captured guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like it very much. Thank you.
You're most welcome, my dear. So, your advent calendar gift of the week is that we will have 2 Gamers Couches next Sunday. So we have a regular game on the couch, and then we will have an extra video where we do review the year of 2015. But there will not be a Gamers Couch on the 3rd of January. So you get 2 at once, and then we do have a Sunday off, getting sober again after New Year's. And then we commence with the regular schedule of Gamers Couch on the 9th. So all that's left to say is Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you. May you enjoy your time with your loved ones and board games if you can. And have a good time, enjoy, and we are going to see you on the 27th.
May the force be with you.
That hurts my brain. I do like mashups, but that hurts my brain. And if you feel like being very generous and giving this video a thumbs up, or share it with your friends, or subscribe to the channel, go ahead. We'd love that. And if you wanna... if your brain is hurt as well by this mashup here, leave it in the comments below. Let us know. Be on my side of the force. So that he never does that again. Anyway, we're gonna go now.
Goodbye.
Do the finger. Make it real. You get mittens if you're not nice, and you get what the heck. Bye.